Hey everybody, it's your boy Dre off the top here. This is part 2 of a 2-part discussion on Shining the Holy Ark. If you didn't hear part 1 a couple of weeks ago, check the description of this podcast to find your link to that, because this is a direct continuation of that discussion. So definitely listen to part 1 so you can understand and have context to what's going on here. Or you can just live dangerously and keep listening. That's fine too. But whatever the case may be, thank you for joining us, and we'll continue with part 2 of Shining the Holy Ark right now.
It's time for fun time.
If you have anything like real deep to say about the battle system here, go ahead. I just think it's like your typical dungeon crawling. You have your spells, you have your basic attacks. You can do some really fun crits. I love all the critical attacks. They're very over the top. See, that's why this game is good. It's all the
first person crit animation is good too. Yeah.
It's incredible. Like, I love Ninja Man. When he does a crit, he throws a couple ninja stars and comes down on him. Yeah. He can even Izuna drop a bitch.
Yeah,
that
dude.
Shit's crazy. You know? Oh, man. I love the main character can just randomly do, like, some ice sword thing or flame sword. And it's like, how is this happening? Don't worry about it.
Don't think about it. Just, he hit him real hard, so his sword burst into flames. It's fine.
Yeah. I loved all that shit. I guess maybe like anything in that regard, like whether it's battle system or just battle animations in general.
Yeah, the battling in this game is very strange in general because there are like two sounds that enemies make and they're both horrifying.
Mm-hmm. The death sound is fucking
thing that like everything makes, and it's just like the most frightening thing in the world.
Whether it's a kobold or a skeleton or anything, it's like, dude, you don't even have vocal cords.
The enemy designs are all really strange. They like it's low poly 3D stuff that looks like it's made out of clay. You've got like disconnected jaws and like just things that visually I can't tell what I'm looking at, like what part of this is supposed to be alive, whatever. And then sometimes it's something much more normal, like a bat or whatever. But sometimes it's just like, this is a plant monster of some kind, I guess, but I don't really understand what it is. I don't know. The actual combat itself is not super complex. I think as you level up, you start to despecify a little bit. Like Melody gets, your mage gets more like physical damage options. Arthur, your player character, gets more like healing and magic stuff, and Rhodey gets a bit more well-rounded. Like everyone gets access to a little bit of everything, I think, as they level up, which allows you to kind of...
That is weird. Because if you think about Shining in the Darkness, you have your very strict warrior mage, like black mage, and then like healer,
which
person,
is much more wizardry-y. It's much more in that vein of like defined classes in the like old like D&D sense.
I just remember this one thing in Shining in the Darkness. I thought I was dead. I thought I was gonna game over, and then I just mashed the buttons like whatever. Both the healers critted. I saved my ass. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened.
It's one of those things like, statistically, has this ever happened to anyone before? Probably not.
Nope. It's like, whatever, save my fucking ass. I'll take it. Oh, yeah. But I guess like Shining in the Darkness is a much tougher game than Holy Ark. Holy Ark is definitely like experience, right?
Yeah.
They don't want this battle system to be like too punishing. It's definitely not an easy game by any means.
No, it's not a cakewalk, but it's not trying to beat the stuffing out of you the way that a lot of DRPGs tend to do.
Yeah. Which I love, by the way.
Yeah, that can be fun. It's because it forces you to kind of like pull back a little bit and start, like I was talking earlier, like pushing just a little bit further every time into that dungeon, that labyrinth or whatever. And like that's what makes that loop work, and that's what makes the like climbing the power curve work. But that's not what Holy Ark is about. Holy Ark is about a story and a world and an adventure, and taking you on a journey through a bunch of different places with different people and doing different things. It's much more thematically and narratively concerned than it is mechanically, I think.
I'm sorry, this is going to be my old man moment of the show. I think 90s world maps are so superior. That shit looks crazy. I love
good,
the
man.
world map in this one. With your character just sorts of, I think that's the only time you can really, well, you can see him in like the CGI stuff.
The level up portraits and the menus, but otherwise it's always first person, so you don't see
the very ridiculously 1997 ass like 2D map. I'm going to the next town or dungeon or whatever is just the best.
You love a dot with a line and another dot on the other end of the line, and they got some icons. They got like a little forest, a little house, a little town. You love a little town.
You know, who doesn't love a little town in the forest, in the mountains? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Those are some honest, hardworking people.
We got an East Shrine, we got a West Shrine.
And a South Shrine. We have a lot of shrines. It is Shrine City. Yeah, it's great stuff.
Nathan Fielder voice. Shrine City up in here.
Shrine City. I love. Yeah, and he just kind of struts along across the world map to the next thing. I love
feel
it.
stupid though. I always get thrown off because the text, like little title for the areas on the map. It's like is it the ones that you're not on that the text is blinking, and the one that you are on, it's not blinking?
I believe that is the case, yes.
Whichever way it is, I always got it backwards in terms of like which one I was like highlighted or whatever. It would end up being a UI problem because I'm stupid that way. But
he dumb, everybody.
Yeah, it's fine. I only make UI for video games. It's fine.
That's all. Well, don't do it that way.
Yeah. Which all this to say, whatever way I'm doing it is wrong by default. That's
the battle animations, man, all the stuff. Like I have never seen a game do this before, where you're walking along the dungeon and the way the enemies appear to you, the way the animation
around
is
the corner or off screen somewhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's a zombie, they'll kind of like creep around the corner, look at you, then kind of walk into your view, and then you start fighting. It's not just like battle screen flash and then like guys appear, which would have been, I guess, fine, but like, because that's what every other game does.
But this is a really, like, it doesn't change your point of view. It's because it's all still first person and grid based. It doesn't like have to shift modality or whatever. Like, it's still, the camera doesn't have to move, nothing has to flash or anything. Like, it's just, you are still looking at the exact same thing you were a second ago, but now an enemy's coming around from the corner and music is happening and you're going into the battle menu or whatever, but it's still happening exactly where you were. And I think that is neat, because they'll play with that with the, I guess we should probably set up the whole pixie thing. There are
go ahead.
Little helpers you can grab, that you can find in your adventures. Like
little dudes.
Yeah, little dudes going around. They're like hidden items sometimes. There are different types of pixies that you can have kind of like equipped, if that makes sense. And you'll have a couple of them on the bottom of the screen, and you can cycle through them with the shoulder buttons to pick one to highlight. And when an enemy shows up, whether it's walking around the corner or like sometimes they'll like jump scare you from like the top of the screen, like they're peeking over, like looking down from above, like they're dropping down upside down on you, which is good. Stuff like that. And while that animation is happening, you press a button to launch, send out, I don't know, send forth up your pixies and different species, I guess. There's like gnomes and fairies and shit. Like different ones will have different types of attacks and will work from different like angles or whatever. Like there's some that will like fly in a spiral and get some on the sides. There's some that will run in a straight line and get enemies that are coming in from further away at you or whatever. And they will do a bunch of damage to the enemy at the beginning of the fight before anyone takes a turn, so that you're going in with it being softened a little bit. And stuff like that. But it's
such a weird idea.
They could have totally gotten rid of it and lost nothing. It's totally vestigial. You don't need to engage with it at all. But
it's so weird.
Something. I don't know. Yeah,
I like it. See, I don't
dislike it, but it's like,
it's strange.
Yeah, it is strange because it's like you would have to either be really, really on your shit reflexes wise to switch to the correct type of pixie once you like figure out what enemy is coming, and in that very brief window of animation time before it's too early or too late to respawn by throwing the pixie out or whatever. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's strange. I feel like getting it timed right so that the attack actually works is weirdly difficult and hard to read.
Yeah.
I will say the random encounters is very funny on console, though, because you can still tell when they're coming because it will stop for a second. You hear the disc spin up in the drive, and it's like, oh, all right.
God, what game did I used to cheat with that? I actually think it may have been Beyond the Beyond. There was some PS1 game I used to do that with, where I'd hear the thing grind for a bit. It's like, oh, it's fucking, oh God. You know what? Whenever I think of like disc shenanigans, you know what I think of? You ever play D2?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That might be what I was thinking of, because I was running around and you hear the GD-ROM just start like grinding to a halt when an enemy encounter is about to happen. That might have been it, actually.
I would legit love to have you on to talk about D2. I think that game is insane.
I played through the first 2 discs of that like a couple months ago, so it's still fresh in mind if you want to talk about D2.
Bro, let's just talk about it, right? Fuck Shining the Holy Ark. Let's just talk about
all right, let me go downstairs and grab a copy of it.
No, I need to. That'll be fun.
Need to prep, because Kenji Eno is a whole thing.
Kenji Eno is, dude. I need to figure out Dreamcast emulation, which is something I've never done. So I'll have to.
That's also a thing that has only recently become viable in recent years.
Right. I'll have to play some stuff that I know like the back of my hand and then see how good it is. And now I could see the artifacts or what's going on and then take it from there. But yeah, I would love to do that. Anyway, I think it's weird just because like they make a point of like you find these little dudes in the world, they're little fairies or whatever. You go, oh, here's a little corner. Did you search here? Oh, here's another gnome.
Yeah. You found me.
Those gnomes are buff as fuck, by the way. They are jacked.
Those dudes have like the muscle mass of a normal human, but they're like 4 inches tall. It's like they just compound all of that into a little action figure man.
Yeah. But the best thing to me is not just the way the enemies appear to you on the screen when you're going to battle, but also the boss stuff. Like they always have like a CGI intro. Like a short scene. Oh, that shit's so cool. Like the Wraith one.
Yes.
Oh my God. I lost my shit when I saw that. That was so fucking cool. I love this game is also not real. Like virtual highlight. This game is, I cannot believe it. It seriously does feel surreal. Like it's so insane. This I would have loved. Oh, if I had this game, and I knew about this game, and because I read magazines religiously back then. I knew about Shining the Holy Ark. I did not have a Saturn, and of course, if any of the one person I knew who had one did, I went over there and just played Street Fighter Alpha and Virtua Fighter 2. That's what we were doing. So like, I don't even think he was particularly interested in RPGs. So like, he did not have this.
That's a thing, man. Like my perception of the Saturn in America in its day is so strange because I feel like they were pushing really hard for like arcade ports at home and sports games and kind of failing on both of those fronts in a lot of ways, unless it's, you're talking about like, like Capcom ports and stuff like that, things that make sense. Yeah. But like, it was huge in Japan. It was far and away the biggest success that Sega would ever have. Yeah. To the point that it was like a lot of Saturn like releases on disc in retail, context in Japan were not video games in the traditional sense. They're apps. Like there are like bus guides, like people talk about, Tokyo Bus Guide for the Dreamcast or whatever, but like there's stuff like that for the Saturn. There's all kinds of like, there's like that interactive interview disc with Ayrton Senna. There's a lot of other stuff like that. That's just for like musicians, J-pop idols and stuff like that. Like there's so much weird stuff on the Saturn. There are recipe books that are just interactive on it. Like there's just stuff.
Yeah.
It's just a software platform. Like it's just a computer that, anyway, point is, Saturn was this wild, super broad thing in its home market where there's just like an unbelievable breadth of strange, novel, unique ways to interact with a game system that you don't really see elsewhere, especially not, here or really outside of Japan, like at all. But yeah, but like there are a lot of reasons to own a Saturn if you lived in Japan in the 90s, but if you lived in the United States or Canada or even really Europe, like it's expensive. You're not getting a lot of support from a lot of the third parties that you're used to. There's like it's just there are so many reasons not to have a Saturn if you're not in Japan in the 90s. And
you would have had to have been obviously for me, you would have to have been an arcade freak.
I guess, because no one's looking at Bug and like, I need this.
You know what? That friend, he did have Bug, and I remember playing it.
No one has ever.
Did.
No,
I swear to God, he had Bug.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not fucking with you right now.
No one has ever paid money for Bug.
Bug is too stupid to lie about. Okay, if I'm gonna make up something, it's gonna be TOO exclamation mark. But yeah, no, I played Bug and I was like, this is weird. Sure, I guess. And then when I turned it on, I played it for a good 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he didn't even have any of the cool other like platform. Like I only knew about Astal from like magazines and Clockwork Knight. He didn't have any of that. So like it just was not on the radar. You know what it is too? And this is like a underrated aspect. And I think like you'd have to grow up in the era like me to really understand this, or just know it retroactively maybe, is that sports games, that was the Sega Genesis here. I'm not saying that's the only thing people played here, but that was a big deal. People thought Sega Sports, even as like a brand, was like a thing. And of course, they got that back with Dreamcast. I almost
wore that hat instead of the Pink Gorilla one before I sat down, by the way.
You have a Sega Sports hat? Fuck! Okay, he's gonna go get it. I can't wait to see this, folks. It's gonna be good. Can't wait. I don't hear any noises this time. He's not dropping anything. Oh. Show me that shit, bitch. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that.
I think the tag's from like 94, 95, something like that. It does not fit my gigantic head.
Oh, you're not even with the strappies on the back? You can't even like...
Oh, it's on the last one. Like it just does not go down far enough.
Oh, okay. That thing is
too big. A big old noggin.
Yeah, wow, that's great.
It's the dumbest Sega hat that I have. I have a trucker hat behind me here from 1981 for Sega Turbo, but it's falling apart. Like the foam is disintegrating. So I don't touch it.
Sega. Anyway. Well, this is now you're appropriately dressed for the segment.
Yes.
Yeah. Sega, but it's true. Sega like was synonymous with like sports games, whether it was theirs or not, whether it's Madden or
that was a space they could own, so they did.
And Saturn simply did not have that.
They tried.
So that was a big deal.
There are a lot
of
first-party sports games on the Saturn. They tried really, really, really hard. And baseball in particular, like there's a huge like long-running... There's all of the weird like bottom of the ninth and like all of that stuff and like the...
Triple play, I think.
The whole like the lineage of World Series baseball and like the different games that are called that have nothing to do with each other on different like Sega platforms and stuff like that. And like all of the like there's a huge pro yaku scene, for lack of a better word. There are a ton of baseball games on the Genesis and the Saturn, and there's a lot of other games on there as well of various sports. But Saturn was not getting it done.
No, they were not, because like PlayStation ate their lunch. Like NFL Game Day was the shit back then, or like even the Konami stuff, like not run and gun. What is that? In the Zone, I think, for PlayStation 1.
Sorry, I almost said NBA Inside Drive, which is the Xbox Sports Network.
No,
2002.
But like, PlayStation and Saturn both got like NBA Jam and stuff like that. So like, whatever, it had that, but like just PlayStation
College Slam and all that stuff. It's just, right. Like, it's there, but it was not like the PS1 was such a juggernaut for that stuff.
Yeah. So like they took over the sports market when that was, again, I know it's hard for people to think about that when the sports market is now just like Madden and the show, but back then sports games were a much bigger deal. Yeah. Like, so You know, you
and
had
also people
that.
like that was a genre of game that people played that weren't just into that genre of game. Like, you know, now like, you know, obviously NBA 2K is a massive like bazillion-dollar industry unto itself, because it's a, you know, gambling platform above all else. But like people that play 2K play 2K. People that play Madden, and they play that every year. Like, and people that play the show, they play the show. But like people that don't. And I think there was a long time, like I think we've touched a bit, like when Greg's been on Flashbang. So we've talked about the ways in which broader games culture tends to memory hole sports games a lot, to the point that like the best you'll get from gamers is like, oh, I heard NBA Jam's a good one. That one's safe for me, the not jock, to play. And like there's this weird dichotomy there, but like I think that did just start to separate really hard as they started leaning really, really hard into the you know, the kind of the EA style of licensed professional sports, the FIFA and everything, going really in the kind of PS2 era after. Because before that, before things like Madden and all that started getting really, really intricate, before the advent of a truck stick, idiots like me could play these games.
Yes.
You know?
It's tough. It's too hard. They're hard. They're too hard.
Complicated. Yes.
I can't even, dude, I've been playing baseball games my whole life. I can't even, like, when I pick up the show nowadays, I'm like, bro, what am I I can't even go first to third on a single to right field anymore. Like, I don't even know how to control this shit.
I think the last show game I had any, like, kind of competence in was on the PSP. Like, it's just been, I've been out of the game too long, man. Like,
I had the show 10 on PSP. I had the show 12 on Vita. Yeah. And those were good. And I played a couple in the PS4 era. And I have, like, the last time I tried one was, like, I think the show 21 or something I have for PS5. It's a lot, dude. I'm not even saying that they're bad. It's just that, like, you cannot, any fucking idiot can pick up and play NBA Jam like me, right? Like, but you can't. Good luck figuring out what to do in NBA 2K. Good goddamn luck to you.
Yeah, no idea. Like, even just watching gameplay footage of it, I'm like, there are so many things going on here that I feel like I'm watching someone play a MOBA. Like, I don't, it feels like watching some crazy esports or something. Like, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. It's so far beyond.
It is a lot, dude.
Yeah. But yes, anyway, that to say, back then, this was a big push for Sega, and that's something that I think they were trying to own as a like differentiating factor in the market there, and they probably could have if the PlayStation didn't explode the way that it did, because obviously that's where that, you know, sports game market went. But if they didn't have to compete with that, if they just had to compete with the N64, they would have been fine on that front. I think
they would be, but even N64 had better options. They had that Kobe game. They had like options that were even a little bit better than Saturn, sad to say, like just even baseball or whatever sport, right? Oh God, it had that. What was that really popular? The Gretzky, the hockey game. In the 64, that was a big deal, right?
I feel like Flashback just did like 2 hockey games in a row that sounded identical, and I don't remember what either of them were. If it's not NHL Hits, I don't know.
It had a glowing puck and everything. Like it was a big deal.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway, Sega lost their grip on that. And so that was, again, that's not the only reason why Saturn wasn't a thing here. It's just
I think we can all agree that the main reason that the Saturn never took off in the United States is they did not secure the Ken Griffey Jr. license.
Oh, no. They could not. Nintendo secured, Rare was put to work, and then Ken Griffey games happened. Those games are so weird.
I love them. I love them so much.
They're so weird. I like them too. Do you have a favorite baseball game of all time? I do. I have an answer to this.
Not one I think is best or whatever, but like in terms of closest to my heart, I played a lot of the first N64 Griffey as a kid. Growing up a lot. It's like that and like RBI Baseball and the NES are probably the 2 that I messed with the most.
The NES version of Baseball Stars from SNK is my absolute fucking favorite, dude. I love that game so much.
For whatever reason, I thought you were going to say the NES version of Baseball Simulator 1000.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I like the SNES one more, but it's not bad. The SNES one's on Nintendo Switch Online. I definitely turned that on sometime.
Fine time. Sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. Head deadly.
What were we talking? Oh, Shining the Holy Ark.
Right.
Wow. Yes.
Back to nerd shit. Take off my fucking sports hat. Crap out of here.
Throw that shit. Okay. Do we deign to talk about Motoi Sakuraba?
How do you even begin? That dude is like, this is
dude.
I wanted to be like, okay, so before this, he had like, there's not that much. I mean, like, okay, there is, but like,
that much.
Most of like his like stuff that we know him for now is well after this. Like, it freaked me out the other day when I was talking to another composer friend about one Motoi Sakuraba, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the Dark Souls guy," and I was like, "Oh yeah, what? I guess technically also that." Like, he did also do those. Like, it's just, yeah, dude is all over the place. He's such a ridiculously, unbelievably versatile composer. Like, he's just, dude's got a brain the size of a planet.
He's incredible. As you know, last year I was playing through the Batten Kaitos remaster.
Yeah.
Just playing, hearing those tunes. It's not my, it's one I have a lot of affinity for. I don't know if it's like his best soundtrack, but it's definitely like, yo, man, this guy was just, and that's in the first half of the 2000s. That's when he was fucking working.
Oh, man, Namco had that dude on an assembly line.
Yeah. Like full ass RPG soundtracks, like Tales and
Tales of this, Tales of this, Tales like just.
Oh my god, dude, it's crazy, and they were all quality, and it's just like, dude, his work here on Shining the Holy Ark is incredible, man.
It's maximalist as hell for Rompler work too. Like, it's very almost aggressively just like bright and. How do you describe this? Like, it's so loud and unsubtle. Like, there's just a lot going on, and like the samples that are out of tune, and it's but it also rocks. I don't know. It's
the main battle theme has this like very rock flair to it, and it does not seem to have a guitar sound, or at least not one that's discernible to me. It's just this very like this bed of synthesizers just jabbing you. And it's incredible stuff, right? Like, I love the drum track on that. It's just like this high, it's great stuff. I'm terrible at describing this kind of music sometimes, but just, he has it all. He has the range, even just the small, like, quiet town tune of just like, look at these peaceful people living in this mountain town of 30 people.
He has that. Yes. And then he has like ridiculous prog rock drum breakdowns in the boss fight music and stuff, like all of the like uematsu organs, and he's got all of your bases covered here.
When this is over, I have to send you the boss theme in Batten Kaitos. It's nuts.
My wife, I can't talk. My wife played through that first one when the remaster came out, and it was just
so you've heard it. Okay, yeah. It's crazy stuff.
Unbelievably good stuff.
Yeah, he has it. In this game, again, I don't even know what else to say. He's a legend. And this game is how, not just this game, but games like this is how he built that legend. It's great stuff.
I don't understand how he has so much in him, and it just keeps, like, he does not run out of amazing music. It's so wild. But also, like, I don't know. I think it says something when I look at a career and I'm like, yeah, he did score those 3 Dark Souls games. I think it's also his weakest work. It's like, damn, dude. All right.
Have you played Mario Tennis Aces on Switch? That shit dude, he still has it. That music is crazy.
I fully believe it. Yeah.
It's so good, man. Oh man. Like, some of the stuff in like it's not a story mode, but whatever the single player kind of progression mode is. Oh my God, dude. He
that's
still
the
has
thing,
it.
though, is like, Camelot is still using him. Like, the Tales team is still, like, what used to be Wolf Team is still using him. Like, people love working with this dude. Like, that's the reason that he was working on From stuff, is because it's the From stuff that's been published by Namco Bandai, and they have this dude, like, I don't know if he's on retainer or what, but like, they just, people like working with them, and it makes sense because his work is incredible.
His Mario Sports work is honestly, and I know I'm a Nintendo guy, but it's just some of my favorite work too. It's just because like before that, like the GameCube, I can't remember the GameCube Mario Tennis, whatever that one's called. That was like one of my favorite soundtracks of his. That shit was crazy. I think Mario Tennis Aces is even better. That shit's so good. So I love that he still has it, and I love that he's been doing it this long, and just I just like that in general. Like I was thinking of like what's the guy who cut his teeth on Chrono Trigger?
Yasunori Mitsuda?
Yeah, thank you. Him and Yoko Shimomura are largely responsible for that first Xenoblade soundtrack. I mean, there's like there's other composers there too, but they kind of did the bulk of it. Mm. You can tell. I love when it's like you haven't heard someone shit in a while, and that was the case with Sakuraba before Mario Tennis Aces. I was like, still has
he's
it,
back.
He's back, baby. And that's how I felt when I first played Xenoblade. I was like, God damn it, these two, holy shit. So yeah, the music in Shining the Holy Ark is top notch. It's
really, really excellent.
Well, we kind of talked about difficulty and how this is an especially difficult game. What do you think about the fact that like the map is just kind of included? You can just kind of look at the map whenever you want, because like in first person dungeon games, it's not always the case. They want you to either draw it or you have to use a spell. Like in Shining in the Darkness, you have to use a spell to look at the map. Yeah. So it's like you can't, or you can just draw it yourself, obviously.
Yes.
But this game just kind of gives it to you. I don't think that's bad, but it gives it a certain feel that, like, I don't know. This is not the first Phantasy Star anymore, I guess.
Right. Sorry, the dumb prop that I was looking for the second ago while you were vamping was the Wizardry branded grid paper notebook.
Got it too, baby.
It came with a hoodie. Anyway.
Got that thing too. Love it. I got the tote bag, and then I got that.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're the one that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the tote bag.
But yeah, I don't know. I think having what used to be called an auto mapper is fine and makes perfect sense for a game like this. I don't think. So in this game, it comes up when you press the start button out and about when you're in a dungeon or whatever. It will just bring up a grid menu overlay. And that's pretty common, I think, for a lot of, until you get to like the DS and you have things like Darkspire and Etrian Odyssey, where it's either a separate screen or you're drawing your own with a stylus or whatever. And the old-fashioned way of doing it with the grid paper is really fun as well if you're crazy. But no, I think it would be
that's
weird and probably annoying if Holy Ark did not have this available to the player, I think.
I think so as well. Because, like, here's the thing. I can kind of bully my way. I'm pretty good at keeping my bearings in a first-person dungeon. That doesn't mean I'm perfect at it. I can definitely get lost, but I think I have sort of an aptitude for that. What's that game on UFO 50, the dungeon crawler?
Oh gosh, I don't remember now. I know what you're talking about.
Where you fight like cross swords, like the Neo Geo game, like
yes,
a real time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Valbrace. I love that game. I have not beaten that game yet. I can't wait to dig in and graph paper that game. But yeah, it's I kind of bullied my way through the first couple floors, just kind of like, okay, I kind of have a sense of where I am here. Shining the Holy Ark, I think I could also do as well. Again, I mean, we're in a different era. We have very like different looking environments now. It's not like a Phantasy Star or something where it's like, here are the walls and that is it. Like there's no other like distinguishing features.
Yeah.
Also, what's also, and again, this sounds so simple to anyone who doesn't play these, the fact that Shining the Holy Ark has like rounded, curved, like
paths and edges and stuff. Yeah. It's not a literal grid.
Yeah, you have like actual like twists and turns, which is like, whoa, this is the 90s, baby.
Whoa, I'm on a rail. What is this, Killer 7?
Holy shit. I just got, as of this recording a few days ago, I was just on Retro Hangover talking about Killer 7. So yes, I was
nice.
Thinking about stuff like that. But yeah, I thought I like all that sort of stuff is great. Other than that, yeah, I think like as far as like the game goes, unless you got anything else,
Not really. I feel like we talked around it from so many odd angles. I think I was interested when you mentioned wanting to cover. So initially, we talked about wanting to do wisdom for this as well, but we also talked about doing the first part of Shining Force 3, which was a trilogy of scenarios. It was the 3-part game in Japan.
We only got the first one here.
Yeah, because at that point, the Saturn was
quite honestly, we are even lucky to even have gotten that.
Yeah, frankly,
at that point.
Yeah, at that point, getting things like that or like Dragon Force and stuff, were just really, really limited print runs of stuff like that out here. Because
I need to play. I have never played Dragon Force. I want to try it. Yeah,
it looks weird. Throwing hundreds of dudes against each other at once, and they just kind of like bounce off. I
always call that a magazine game because it looked great in screenshots. Oh my god, there's so many guys on the screen. It was like holy shit. Yeah,
like it's. Or like famously, Panzer Dragoon Saga, they only ended up, after 2 print runs, totaled out to like 15,000 copies or something like that.
Yeah.
For the US, like they just were not, like the Saturn was dead here at the end of 97. Like they just stopped. Like they pulled out, they were not shipping any, not even third-party stuff. Like there are games that came out in Japan on the Saturn in 98 and 99 that are fully in English that did not come out here. Because they were done. It was dead. It was time to just pull the plug and put everything into trying to get the Dreamcast to be the thing.
I think after Final Fantasy VII, it was just fucking over, honestly.
There was just nothing left at that point like that.
Yeah.
But, which again, it sucks because there was still awesome stuff coming out on the Saturn. It just was not ever going to be able to live here. It would not have been something that they could sustain, which is why you were starting to get such dwindling numbers for games like this. It's that all being said, it's interesting to me to look at Shining the Holy Ark as a picture of the Saturn and its place in like the American slice of the games market in the 90s. Because that's kind of how you pitched this to me. It was like, let's look at these games as a way of kind of, I got the impression at least that you were trying to like fill in some blanks from that era, from reading magazines and stuff, right? From games that you had seen a lot of thumbnails of or read reviews of and stuff, but hadn't actually like ever sat down and like gone back to or whatever. More or less, vaguely.
That's basically it. Yeah.
You kind of pitched it to me as wanting to get
exploring the Saturn for the first time on my own terms through Shining, a series I know.
Which seemed like an interesting end to me because like my experience with the Shining series is largely limited to Holy Ark and In the Darkness, and then the other ones that I've like dabbled with. Like I have Shining Force 1 on Genesis, and I put a few hours into Resonance Reframed, but like stuff like that. But like I've not played like Shining Force 2 or 3 or any of the other weird ones, whatever. So it's not a series that I am necessarily super attached to, and Camelot is not a developer that I have a huge history with, but I do like DRPGs, and I like these games, and I like Sakuraba, and I like the Saturn. So I was excited to jump in on this, but it's also like, again, because I feel like this is a very specific slice of the like overall, I don't know, software identity of the Saturn. Because like what we got in America is a slice, and then like of what came out on it in total, and then this part of it is like a slice of that slice, and then having this be the one like weird pre-rendered 3D game with all this other like extra vestigial stuff that makes it weird even within its own series and on its own platform and from its own developer. Like it's different for a Camelot game. It's different for a Saturn game. It's different for a Shining game. It's different for a DRPG. It's different for a Shining DRPG. Like there are just so many weird little things about it that make it its own unique thing that I don't even really necessarily think of Holy Ark as a Saturn game. I think of it as a video game that happened to release on the Saturn. Because like it's so self-contained as its own weird little like work in my brain. I don't know.
Can I say something very
Please
cursed?
do, because I'm floundering again. Go ahead.
No, this is perfect. I'm going to say something. You're not going to like it, though.
Perfect.
Shining the Holy Ark 64.
Yeah, no, it feels more in line with It's
does,
got
doesn't
N64 energy on it for sure. Yeah.
I think if this were an N64 game, now look, you probably couldn't do all the CGI nearly
it would be
as
a different video
not
game.
like that, right? But all the
pre-rendered stuff would be real time, though. I think like it would look like.
Well, see, here's the thing. I love the way N64 does pre-renders. I do. I like the way that shit looks on there. So if they could still have the same character sprites, the town stuff would be probably better. It definitely wouldn't slow down like that. But like they could still have the bespoke sort of like the way the enemies appear. Mm-hmm. I think if this were an N64 game, I think it would have been at least more appreciated here anyway, because obviously that was a much more popular system.
Yeah, I mean, you could
also kind of a bit starved for RPGs at that point.
Very. Like, forever. Like, I mean, famously, if you want an RPG-ass RPG on the N64, it's like you got Quest or you got Aiden Chronicles or you learn Japanese.
Yep.
Like, but yeah, I think looking at something like Shadowgate 64, I think you could use as a template.
I have never played that game. I have got to play that game.
I learned recently people don't like that game. I like that game.
I don't know. I've heard a very split vote on that. Yeah, I need to play that game for myself sometime.
Yeah, it's neat. It'll be a while before that gets up on Flashback, but I signed up for that one like immediately. I was like, "Goo, I know no one else is going to want to talk about this," and they really gotta put that on
Nintendo Classic sometime. I will definitely.
Absolutely not happening, but it should.
Really? Why not? Is the rights like fucked up or something? Or
I just assumed so. I don't know who owns Shadowgate.
I don't know. All sorts of weird shit appears on there. I don't know. I don't think it's like I guess there is
strange. I think in my mind the NSO stuff is like where they put out the things that exist in the same tier as like the black box NES games. Like
they start that way, but then they start getting weird. That's what I.
They did put Pulse Man on there, didn't they? Like, yeah.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. In the middle of us doing our Game Freak before Pokemon thing, they actually put Pulse Man on there. So, like,
that's right. I think that's probably why. Yeah,
we spoke it into existence. But yeah, your assessment of the era is very, very good for a young man.
For someone who was barely there.
Yeah, you got it. That's how it went down. That's kind of why I wanted to do this, because I also, whether we did all the Shining games or not, I think the Saturn in America is fascinating. We know how it went in Japan. That's not that interesting. I think it's much more interesting to talk about how it was perceived here.
It comes like back around in a weird way, because I feel like for a long time, people talking about the Saturn in America on the internet were talking about the implosion of it and the like the moving the launch date and the not telling the retailers and just like all of this stuff that's the story of the death and the failure of the Saturn here. And then after that got out of the way, it's like we have years of like weird import retro game nerds like us that are digging into all the weird shit, and you have like all the people in our like Blue Sky Circle and stuff that are that have that ground covered. Like the weirdo stuff is weirdly more represented now, I feel like, in our various social circles on the Saturn, and it almost feels more novel now to go back and look at the much more limited, like tangible, like what was it actually like to experience that like in real time here. And so that's something that I think about a lot, because I again thinking about like how young I actually was during its very small window of active operation in the US, which is really just 96, 97, and then the fact that it's just kind of like I didn't know about it until after the Dreamcast. Like just have
that's so weird.
Which feels so weird now. Like especially it's been
so strange.
It's such a big like obsessive part of my life for so many years now. It's very difficult to think about a time when I didn't know about the Saturn. But yeah, straight up again, being like 6 years old, the Dreamcast came out, and I was like, oh, Sega's back.
Well, see, now I want to pick your brain. Like, when did you learn that about the, I don't know, Atari Lynx or something?
Yeah, I think Lynx and Jaguar would have been around the same time. Like, I think basically if it was a failed platform from a major manufacturer. I think I like that, and like the Virtual Boy and like Wonder Swan. Like I feel like a lot of that stuff I fell into whatever like surface level research I could find on the internet. I feel like I found all that stuff around the same era, just somewhere around the mid 2000s, because it was just like, I don't know if I just lived in a weird bubble or what, but like I didn't know a lot of people that were like everyone I knew played games, but it was a different part of the culture. Like when I was 18 and stuff, like we were already into the like Halo and Call of Duty era by that point, barely, right? Like, or at least you're starting to get into that era.
Yeah.
Like I graduated high school the year that like I think Black Ops came out? ? I don't know.
Okay. Jesus.
Whichever one had Vietnam in it and Ice Cube. That was the last one I played. That's all I remember.
That could be 5 of them to me. I don't even remember.
It was a long time ago. Hundreds of years.
Yep.
But like we were not, like I didn't know people that were like, we weren't reading magazines because this stuff was online at this point, but also people weren't really checking it online. It was just like, I don't know. I feel like I had a wildly different relationship with games as a piece of the culture at large, more broadly, than people that are either a little bit older or a little bit younger than me, or people that just grew up in a different place. So I don't know if I just ended up in a weird spot or what, but like I found out about a lot of this stuff in a very weird way on my own after the fact, which feels weird. But I feel like just sometime around like 05, 06, I just started like digging into whatever I could find. I don't know. Like I don't know where I picked up a lot of this stuff. Like I remember there being like, I found little like videos and stuff in the pre-YouTube era that people were putting together that were like little miniature, someone talking on a green screen documentaries of just like the story of Tetris. And it's like, here's a bunch of facts that are wrong, but like whatever. That's what the standard was back then.
Well, it was weird, right? Because I mean, even going through this stuff in real time, so to speak, it was more like there was a weird part, like the first half of the 2000s on the internet was just weird. Like we didn't have YouTube yet, right? So like videos on the internet, it's not that they didn't exist, but also that also meant that like I knew what a Wonder Swan was, but it's not like I could ever, that didn't come out here, obviously. So it's not like I could ever hold one. The most, you know what, honestly, the most I ever saw Wonder Swan stuff was like on import sites.
Sure. Yeah.
Like where you'd buy your import games. And so like I'd see it there. I'd see the games, and that's how I learned, oh, it has this game and that game or whatever's on this import site. So that's how it was. It's not like today where, like, first of all, we would never have a Japan only system today. That would just be impossible.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not a thing that would ever happen. So also, we would be able to see that shit with our own eyes. I think about that in terms of like, what's a good example? Like, what's that handheld system with the little crank, little yellow Playdate? Yeah. If that happened 20 years ago, that would just be like a myth, a legend, right? Yeah. Like, I don't think like it would. I mean, maybe it could be successful, but also like it. You know what I mean, right? Because we can see it, we can see videos, we can see people using it. Yeah. That helps a lot versus like what the fuck is a Wonder Swan, you know, in 2002? It's like, oh, Square is making games for it? That's weird. Why are they supporting this thing so hard? Okay, whatever.
Brand new Klonoa game? What?
Yeah, it's just like that's a completely I don't know jack shit about Wonder Swan. Like literally, I've never I don't know anything. That's something I've got to explore sometime too. Point is, in terms of Saturn, you were talking about how you just basically didn't know. I knew because of magazines, but also Toys R Us was at that time was a store where they just stocked everything. Everything. They had TurboGrafx CD. They had Sega CD. They had Saturn. They had if it was a video fucking game, they had it. They had Lynx. They had all this stuff that people think was like so weird and obscure. And it's like, I don't know. I grew up weird maybe because our Toys R Us had everything. So a Nomad it had. I remember I got a Nomad from Toys R Us and they're clearing them out for $50.
That's wild.
They're just sitting in a bin.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing anything in a Toys R Us that wasn't like an N64 or a PlayStation kiosk.
Interesting. I do remember. God, I need to ask my mom about this. I have a weird memory in my head of like going to a department store and going down to the basement floor or whatever, maybe not basement, but a lower floor than the main floor. And there was video games down there, and they had a couple kiosks. One of the kiosks had Gradius 3 on Super Nintendo. So it must have been like around launch time.
Yeah.
The other kiosk was a Master System playing Sonic. And that's how I learned there was an 8-bit version of Sonic. I had no idea.
Yeah. So that still would have been like 91, 92?
Yeah, it had to have been 91. But I feel like it was a department store that was like not like
a Sears or something. Like what?
Yeah. See, I don't think it was like that. I feel like it was like something on its way out, like a Woolworths or like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some other bullshit, some vestige of the mid-century that was like
thing that only exists in old movies now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's like something that exists. Anyway,
weird. But yeah,
it is weird how we just learn about video games sometimes, I guess.
It really, really is, because I remember having like trying to find access to old games during the Bush years as a kid was a very difficult thing. There was like NES and Super Nintendo emulation and stuff, which is not great. And then I had like, like family members with old consoles and stuff that I had access to. But like, I remember in like 04, 05 calling around to every place I could think of in the phone book around my town that might have an old video game box. I was just like, it was almost like more of a mental experiment than anything. I was like, can I call somewhere and say, can I buy an NES from you? And they say yes. Like, is there anywhere I could possibly go in this town and like buy an old video game? And I couldn't find anything. There were no mom and pop shops, and all the, like the EB games and stuff and the, KB toys or whatever, they weren't stocking old stuff. They were only, whatever was the new like retail stuff. They weren't in the business of selling old secondhand video games. And so your best bet was like get lucky at a thrift store, I guess. But like even then, like I was not finding anything back then. It wasn't really till later.
Like I guess like back in the day, the thing was like a Funko Land, but I didn't even know where a Funko Land was. So I was in a big city. I had no idea where a Funko Land was. So like I know, but that was like a thing for a lot of people because they always had the old games before like,
Didn't have Funko, didn't have a Babbage's, didn't have anyone around me that knew what I was talking about.
I went to a Funko Land once in 2002 when I bought Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. It's like the only time I went to a Funko Land.
Oh man, should I tell my weird Sonic Adventure 2 Battle retail story on the show? Okay.
Absolutely.
So, Tacoma, Washington is a beautiful place where dreams are made. It's my home. It's my favorite city in the world. I feel a deep personal responsibility for that town. It's my home. I love it.
Okay.
There used to be a lot more old game stores there. And one day I was standing in line to make a purchase at Super Smash Games on South Tacoma Way Boulevard. This would have been 2013, 14, somewhere around there. And actually, I just realized I could pinpoint the exact date because of the incident that I'm about to describe, but that will take some Googling and I'll do it later. Anyway, point is,
okay.
Standing in line, and the guy in front of me was talking to the person behind the counter, and they were just making small talk like, hey, how's your day going? And the guy just starts, the guy in front of me just starts trauma dumping on the poor girl behind the counter about watching his boy get shot last night several times. And in detail, is talking about watching his friend be murdered in front of him the night before. And
man.
And then just like ends a very awkward and real moment with, he chokes it down. He's like, so anyway, y'all got that Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube?
Oh man,
which is really funny on its own. But then later that night, back when I used to occasionally still check reddit.com, I saw a video of that shooting on the Tacoma subreddit because it happened in front of Dirty Oscar's Annex, which is a bar on 6th Ave. And it's just the place I know well, but also just like that. Wow. Yes, sometimes shootings happen outside bars in Tacoma, and I saw the video of that happen later that day. So I was like, oh no, he wasn't kidding. That was okay. Interesting. Right.
Wow.
But he just starts trauma dumping on this poor girl and then asks to have Sonic Adventure 2 battle.
So surely you're behind him in line, right? And
yes,
you just see the back of his head and you're seeing her face in horror.
I'm not looking at her because I can't, but yes.
Oh,
I was just staring at the ground, bug-eyed, like, what is happening right now?
That's incredible. Thank you for enshrining that on
it's a magical place. I do not remember or care what we were talking about, but anyway.
I don't even care. I don't even care.
I could have a much longer conversation about why it was so hard to like find and learn about old games during the era where anything with a sword on it was gay nerd shit. But it's just we've been recording a long time. We've gone far away from Shining the Holy Ark. I'm sure we'll dig into these things more over the years later on as we go. But yes,
but no, I don't know if I have. You know what? I'll say this, and I don't know if you'll agree or disagree. I think the best way to describe Shining the Holy Ark is that it is not an exceptional concept, right? Like we've had games like this before. It's not exceptional gameplay. We've had battle systems exactly like this before, and you know exactly what's going to happen here. What it is a exceptional execution.
Yeah.
And like presentation. And that makes obviously an exceptional experience. That's what it's about sometimes. Cause it's like, you think about, I don't know, I'm trying to think of like something that seems on its surface. I know a lot of people like to say some of its parts, but something that's like seems on the surface, like, oh, that seems like your typical, whatever genre it is. But then you play it. That's like, oh, we're just really doing some shit here. But if you were to describe it to somebody, it's a dungeon crawler, but look at this shit and listen to this shit. That's how I think of, again, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. It's kind of how I feel about Panzer Dragoon. It's not like an exceptional like concept. It's a rail shooter. We've played those before, but it's exceptional the way it's presented to us and its art style and etc.
Yeah, I think there might be something to be said about the like, I don't know, the weird like 3D like quadrant shifting and stuff like that, and it being very early for 3D, being a launch game for the Saturn, but yeah, I mean, like, whatever. Shining the Holy Ark is not, it's not doing anything unique, but it is doing a lot of things very well and with a lot of character. And more importantly, it's putting them together very, very elegantly into what I think is a very cool and good and just a generally mood brightening video game. I also think it's like a mini, it's gonna say like a buffet plate or something, but it's like a sampler platter or whatever. It's a way to try out a lot of different game aesthetics at once. Like in terms of like, if you've never played a dungeon RPG before or whatever, like there are a lot of different components to this thing that if they're new to you, you can, I don't know, find out a lot about your own taste very quickly, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't remember where I was going with that, but
I think if anyone listening to this, they align with our general tastes. I mean, obviously, yes, play Shining the Holy Ark. If this sounds remotely interesting to you, 100% give it a shot. Especially now that, again, Saturn emulation is, I don't want to say perfect, but obviously miles and miles ahead of where we used to be. This kind of stuff
damn close.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've got like Mr. cores and stuff that are effectively perfect at this, but like Saturn emulation is more or less a solved problem now. And Sega's not going to sell you this game, so go get it from the crime store.
I sure did. Do you have anything like interesting to say about your setup or how you play this? You just play this on a basic bit Saturn on your TV or nothing? You didn't do anything crazy or?
Oop.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. I had a Saturn disk drive burnout on it, so I had to switch my V Saturn. But
Holy Ark killed a Saturn?
Yeah. Well, no, wow. I had that drive worked on before, so it's failed again. So something's up with that thing. But
gotcha. Why do you think Shining the Holy Ark, when it comes to like the 3 Shining games on Saturn, I feel like it gets forgotten about. I feel like people talk about fucking Shining Wisdom more than Holy Ark.
I mean, Shining Wisdom has the It has a script that people want to talk about because it's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
In terms of the English localization. It has a fancy, shiny foil cover. Like it's a working designs joint is what I'm getting at. And I think that there are people that will play it just because it's a working designs release. And I think there are people that will at least be more interested in it because of that. And because it's just a bit more accessible by way of being a Zelda clone. That's really reductive, but you know what I mean. It's an action adventure game in the way that, you know, like what's the Newtopia? I was trying to think. I was like, what's the PC Engine one?
Nobody knows what that shit is except me. So yeah,
it's pretty good though. Newtopia 2's
yeah.
Good,
when those came out on Wii Virtual Console, ate that shit up. Wii was basically my TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah, I think the only thing I ever actually bought on Virtual Console was Rondo of Blood. But it's between that and then like Shining Force 2, I feel like is held up as like, I feel like for a long time that was one of the only like Genesis RPGs I heard people bring up in conversation of like, you know, people used to be like the generic split between Genesis and Super Nintendo is like Genesis is where the like pick up and play arcade games are, and then Super Nintendo is the longer experiences, the Final Fantasies, the Zeldas and Metroids and all that. Like that's not obviously a clean split that actually works, but no, it's a vague generality.
I get it though. I don't typically argue with it when people say that.
Sure. So like using that as a shorthand, I see why Shining Force 3 would be something that you look at as like, oh, it's a follow-up to a thing that I have heard of that has a lot of like acclaim to its name or whatever, has a lot of prestige to it to some degree. And also just Shining the Holy Ark is a weird
ass name. It's a weird ass name.
Yeah, it's Harvey the Wonder Hamster, Albie the Racist Dragon, Shining the Holy Ark. Like it sounds like it should just be a noun,
awesome.
The adjective noun. It's, you know, like
it is weird. I guess they wanted like shining in the darkness, shining the Holy Ark, but it is
right. But it just sounds like you're polishing the Ark of the Covenant with like a rag. I don't know. Like that's why it was bright enough to melt those Nazis, I guess, at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I mean, it sounds like
a shiny holy ark.
It sounds like a masturbation. I mean, you're shining your holy ark up there. Like it sounds like a fucking joke, right? Like
totally, yeah. It's 100% a weird euphemism. It's like you hear something that like. You ever, I wish I had an example to pull from now, but you ever just hear like, oh yeah, that was just like a weird slang thing that came up like among troops in World War II. Like they just had some weird shit. Like, yeah,
exactly.
Like, I'm gonna go behind the bushes and shine the Holy Ark for a minute. Keep an eye out for Jerry. Like, what are you know, what are we doing?
I specifically don't want Jerry to see me, jerking it. Yeah. Anyone else, fine.
Right. Just not the Wehrmacht. They can't know.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it sounds like, right? It's cumbersome. Shiny. Who's gonna like? Is any child going to write to Santa, I want Shining the Holy Ark?
Right. And then their parents look at that and be like, what the hell are you talking about? What is that?
Yeah. Is this drugs? Is this like what?
Just what is this? Imagine some poor frazzled parent bringing that into some poor frazzled like seasonal employee at some department store and just like writing down like, I don't know, do you know what this is? I think there's I don't know if my kid has like there's a gas leak in the house, or I don't know, I need to buy another CO2 monitor while I'm here, you know.
It sounds like a cult, right? Like Heaven's Gate, or like totally, dude, Shining the Holy Ark.
Absolutely. There's something about it. It's just each individual word in that sentence just makes it the rest of it weirder, I feel like.
It is weird. Yeah, you know, when you put it that way, I guess so. But like I get why it's like the least talked about of the three Saturn Shinings, but also
it looks weird.
It does look weird.
Yeah, like the pre-rendered art style that we've been talking about this whole time, like also I could totally see people bouncing right off that and thinking it looks absolutely hideous.
Really?
I could totally see someone looking at that and having a like Cruelty Squad response of just being like, this is deranged looking. I don't know. It's really it's really strange. I don't know. It's a very odd art style. It's cute, but
yeah, it's cutesy. Well, that's why I read that thing now over 2 hours ago about like the guy at the producer saying, "Oh, we wanted to go for this darker side." It's like, bro, this just looks like. I mean, I don't think it looks like that at all.
It's super bright, colorful, and kid friendly. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very.
Came from, yeah.
That's just what video games look like at that time.
Sure.
Fine time, fine time.
I just think it's very interesting around this time because the landscape of what were popular RPGs was really changing. And it's not just Final Fantasy VII. It's everything Squaresoft was doing. It's all the CGI and cutscene heavy drama in general. Because, like, you know, if you think about, like, you know, 96, 97, we're having stuff like Shining Wisdom, Shining the Holy Ark, or even Beyond the Beyond, or Ark the Lad, God forbid. And then 2 years later, we're having like Final Fantasy VIII, or like these things that are just very, very different from that.
Yeah, but you also have like Pokemon blowing up around now. You know, like there's just a lot happening in different, like, I don't know, branches of the RPG tree.
And Pokemon was so what it was that people don't even think of that as an RPG. Like, it doesn't even register, you know? So it's all very strange. And I just think that, like, I don't know whether it's like the mopey edgelord main characters that we were starting to get into at that time. Like, I feel like that's what he was trying to talk about when talking about like Shining the Holy Ark. But this is not that at all. So yeah, it's just interesting. I guess I didn't really have any further point about that. I just think it's just such a rapid change for RPGs at this time that it maybe if Shining the Holy Ark were on, let's just say that was a PS1 game or N64 game, maybe even then it wouldn't have done a ton.
Yeah, I don't know. I think being a first-person dungeon RPG kind of limits a little bit of the like grandiosity of scope that Square was swinging for around this time. Throwing all their money at. Whereas I feel like what was happening within Sega was more just trying to continue to refine and build out something that they already had. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Well, yeah, because like, I mean, it feels like, just thinking about this, the Saturn RPGs feel extremely stodgy in comparison. Like, if you think about something like a Virtual Highlight or even something that has flair, like a Dragon Force, doesn't feel the same as like a
and like
Vandal Hearts or I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't
or even like a Valkyrie profile or whatever. Like, there's
exactly Suikoden, right? Or something. Yeah.
That's a game that would have been perfectly on Saturn, but aside from stuff like Grandia, you're not getting a lot of that, or at least not out here. There were a lot more of the kind of like, there are a lot more 2D 32-bit RPGs on the Saturn in Japan, but they're not they're not swinging for the production value fences. I think maybe the most they ever did probably was Panzer Dragoon Saga. And again, that game is, for all the parts of it that are huge and vast and expansive, it's also comparatively small video game. Like, there's not that many dungeons. And again, there is one town. And a couple places on the world map to go to. Like, it's not, what's there is really elaborate and intricate, but it very clearly does not have the just like size and scope and money behind it that some of the more spectacle oriented stuff was getting into in the literal same year. You know, like, it was just, they were going down a very different, everyone else was going down a very different path, I think, than the course they were staying. Maybe that's probably an oversimplification, but
well, no, I mean, I think that's true, because like, I just think it's also interesting that like all three Shining games on Saturn are ostensibly RPGs, but they're three very different
genres of RPG.
Yeah, genres. Yeah, you have a dungeon RPG, you have a top-down Zelda-like RPG, then you have your typical strategy RPG in Shining Force 3. So you have like three very different things, and I feel like I feel like the scope of the term RPG in like the mainstream sense had really narrowed at that point. RPG had meant, again, I don't want to make everything about Final Fantasy VII, but I mean, like, Final Fantasy was it then, whether you meant 6 on Super Nintendo or 7 or whatever, right? Like, I feel like that was becoming, this is RPG, god damn it. So, like, Shining the Holy Ark would never be considered in that canon, even though you do largely a lot of the same things. But I think presentationally of the power of the CD-ROM was, I feel like, just getting to a place where, in other words, we're getting well past the point of like Dragon Quest was computer games on your TV, right? Like now you can play it on your TV. Now we're getting, a decade past that and we're getting to somewhere else.
Yeah, we've already gone through a generation of, Paladin's quests and stuff. ActRaisers. We've had a lot of different, people trying different ideas. And again, it's all stemming back from the same place. If we look at what we think of as being, what you're just talking about is like the predominant idea of what an RPG is in that time, being a thing that stems back from stuff like Dragon Quest, where you have a character walking around a world map and going on a bit of adventure. But even that then goes back to stuff like Wizardry, which then you start from there and drive off in a different direction, and you get to Shining the Holy Ark. So it's, it's all connected, man. You just gotta follow the money.
follow the map. You have all the fucking red line to draw this and that on your corkboard.
It's all there in the 97 fall financial report, Hank.
Before you get to fiscal 98, slow down. Wake up, sheeple.
The mole man didn't want you to have the ram cart.
I've never actually, like, nothing he had required a ram cart. I don't think I ever actually physically seen one of those on Saturn.
Oh, your friend that had one back in the day. I was like,
well,
do you mean my bad Dale Gribble impression that sounds more like a bad Jack Nicholson? Or do you mean Hank Hill? Do you mean Dell? Do you mean Bernie Stoller? What do you...
Oh, God, Bernie Stoller. Don't even get me started. I only saw about them in fucking, again, like, magazines love to, like, show
you all the cool
shops.
Stuff you can't have. Yeah,
here's all the cool stuff. Here's mischief makers or UK troublemakers, and it costs $110 because you need this like fucking thing to play it on your N64. It's like, okay, sure, right? So but yeah, those are the only times I saw this. If you buy X-Men versus Street Fighter for Saturn for $90, you will give you a free RAM card or something.
So that the
shit like that.
Background animates properly. Yeah, stuff like that.
Oh Lord, the PS1 versions of those games are so sad, dude. They make me so upset. I understand they're kind of like different games because they have to be, but like, ugh.
It sounds like you should buy the RAM card
for a system that is literally no one's going out the door here.
Just jam it in there. Just jam a Saturn RAM card in the back of your PlayStation. We should probably wrap this up.
Nah. We need to hit the 3-hour mark, baby.
We are almost there. I mean, we might as well, right? Like,
this is already going to be 2 episodes. I'm going to have to record something after this and say, hey guys,
sorry, we rambled a lot.
Yeah, so here's part 2. Now, this is great. I'm really glad to have finally done this. I'm glad this is easily the longest I've ever recorded a single anything, and I'm glad it was about this. So, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have any more old man questions for me before I leave about the Saturn? Did you get them all out of your system? Or
mostly, I think just one day I'll just sit you down for like an overview and just be like, just like get like a read on the situation from someone who was at the age of the like target demo at the time, because you would have been like 13, 14-year-old boy in
14,
SoCal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you were exactly who they're trying to sell that thing to.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Whereas I would have been, a toddler, basically. So
it was appealing on the surface. I think what really hurt it for me, and look, I don't think I was ever seriously considering a Saturn. I knew Nintendo Ultra 64 was around the corner, and I knew I was very interested in PS1. I knew I was looking at stuff like Jumping Flash, and it's like, oh, Tekken looks really cool on here. I don't like Tekken, but that's a really good, like, look at what this thing is doing, right? I think, and people don't talk about this enough, I think that initial version of Virtua Fighter on Saturn really hurt it. I think if they had like a really competent version of Virtua Fighter looking really good on Saturn from the get-go, and like had that at kiosks and stuff, I think that really would have brought shit home, because at that time, obviously I don't need to tell you how groundbreaking Model 1 was, right? So to have that at home, like, very competently would have been incredible. That would have turned my head at least and been like, oh my God. Like, but it didn't look good at all. And I've already kind of shit on some other Saturn ports of the time, arcade ports, but honestly, like, Sega Rally is like serviceable enough. Daytona USA is a pop-in nightmare, and it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, Daytona and Rally both got fixed later with different releases, but it's not.
And that's what happened with Virtua Fighter as well, with Virtua Fighter Remix. Sega just didn't give themselves the fucking time, dude.
I kind of like at least the faces in VF1, the Saturn port, more than the weird face textures on Remix, I think. But I don't know. They're goofier in a way that works for me. I don't know. But I also don't have that built-in experience with the arcade original necessarily. So, or was it the Genesis port of VF2 that was like weirdly good?
Yeah, it actually plays okay. Yeah, it's on. I played it on one of the mini consoles. I think it may be on the first one, and I played that shit and was like, "Oh, this is weird in 2D," but like it actually kind of feels like Virtua Fighter. Believe it or not, it's weird. It's on a single plane, but honestly, at that time, the 3D was kind of just for show anyway. So you didn't do a whole lot of like side step until like we got like Toshinden, where you're really like diving and like, like doing weird shit. But until then, like, it's kind of just for show.
Toshinden, now that's a game with a weird Saturn port.
Oh, I've never played that. We a couple years ago here on Fine Time, we did like a fighting game anime Christmas, and one of them was the Toshinden OAV. Where you got to see Sophia's tits. It was great. But we were Steve there's a very Nintendo man. He had never played Toshinden before, so I insisted that he did before we watched OAV. You got to play it for a little bit just to get the taste of the day. And he was like, this is fucking weird. Like, it's such a weird game.
Yeah, but you ever just like meet someone that has a really like oddly specific weird game that like you remember later and you're like, why did that person have that? Like, I discovered years later that like I only knew of Guilty Gear because a friend of mine had the GBA game back in the day, and I was like, what is this? But no, at some point years and years ago now, like close to a decade ago, I was messing around in the first Toshinden with a friend, and when the like start screen came up or whatever, my wife was like thrown off, and then she went and like dug through some boxes. She had the Game Boy port of Toshinden, still does, but she was like, "Oh yeah, I know that game." I was like, what?
Yep, it's for Game Boy.
I didn't even know it had a Game Boy port at all, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, I played Tony. So here, check this out." I was like,
yeah, the super deformed like sprite. Yeah, the whole bit. Yeah. Anyway, it was weird.
That's my
Why did we were into that Virtua Fighter Kids? Like I don't know why we did that so often back then. I guess it was the thing.
Those Neo Geo Pocket fighting games have really cute sprites too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot. Okay, fine. We can stop talking about the goddamn Saturn. Jeez.
Finally.
Yuck. This was great. Thanks for doing this with me. You got anything else you want to plug before you get out of here?
I don't know, man. I just lost another game dev job along with thousands and thousands of other people. So if you need a visual designer or a music composer, Elmore.design.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna sell you right now. I'm gonna outro the show with one of your jams you made for the show. If you've listened to the show with any regularity, folks, you've heard his music probably at least every big deal. I usually use at least one of them.
You've heard me request a lot of nut tightening, I assume by this point.
Yes,
some shower music.
Yes, let me tighten your nuts. Well. Well, you gonna sing the shower song live for us?
I don't remember what else I said. Time to hit the showers. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said earlier, Dre and I relaunched an old podcast with Adam Ismail called The Silent Discographer, which is a really stupid Halo joke, but we go through band discographies, album by album. We've been working our way through REM, Dre's favorite band, and the band that Adam and I both love dearly as well, and has been a weirdly in-depth endeavor that has turned into a brain-boiling obsession, but it's been a lot of fun, and that is finally starting to go live, so go find that.
Find Time may be a New Order song, but my heart is definitely REM, for sure.
Indeed.
And it's been fun doing that show with you, talking the REMs, all the REMs. We're about, as of this recording, we're about to get into the 90s now, finally.
Yeah, living into Out of Time.
Yeah, it's going to be something. So definitely check that out. All the links to all this bullshit will be in the description of this podcast, plus our links to all of our Find Time stuff, also in the description of this podcast. Other than that, we're going to get out of here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
We'll see you next time.